Hello and how are you? Welcome to our ninth class of learning how to create mobile applications using Flutter. Today we are going to look at how we can use Flutter form package and we see how we can collect the data from users. That will be our main concentration today, and also we see how we can manage the states or the state management of Flutter. So that's what we're going to cover today. As we always do it, we always go for 60 minutes for a class. So today we're going for 60 minutes and the count has started counting. And if we finish in time, no problem, we can go for less than 60 minutes. So without wasting time, let's get started. So I'll assume that up to now, you've been following our previous videos or this course. And I hope when I open an application like this one, you're understanding what is going on. So if you don't, I really recommend you to watch our previous videos on this very YouTube channel, so you can be able to be on the same page with us. So if you still remember, last time we tried to add the package of form builder in our mobile application and we faced some errors. So I've solved that error, and right now we're going to begin from there straight and then we proceed. So how did I solve the error? I think the latest version of the form builder is having an issue. So if you want to solve that error, what you do, you import the old version of form builder. For example, I'm sure that the version 7.0.0 it works. So the 7.1.2 or 7.2, it is having some issues. So I solved that problem by coming to pubspec.yaml, and then I come to the package that we imported, which is form builder. And it was having this exponential thing that shows that it should import the latest version. So what I did, I imported the exact version that was there. So what I did, I just removed that exponential version. Then this one, you can import also. This one is a validator. You can find it also on the form builder. It helps us to validate fields of the form builder, and we'll look at how we can validate different fields. So import the exact ones. Import the exact one. Or add the exact versions of form builder. Otherwise, we'll be keep on checking if the latest versions they have been solved, or if the issues of the latest version have been solved, and then maybe we can also upgrade to the latest version. But for now, it is 7.0 that is stable for me. Okay, so go ahead and add 7.0 in your pubspec.yaml, and also maybe the validators. We're going to look also at how we can validate the forms of Flutter using this validator. So that's what you can do, and then you go ahead and run pubget, so that this package should be added to your mobile application project. So with that said, I've run my project, and if I run it, I will be able to get something like this. Okay, so if you've been following, you can even access this source code on my GitHub, the link that I always share with you, and you can come here to the form. When you click on the form, then you'll be able to get the screen of form, and this screen we built it together, if you still remember. So the only thing that I added, so I'll go to my screen form, and then we're going to start looking at one by one on how we can manage each of or different fields of Flutter form builder. Okay, so let's do that. So we're going to begin by coming to our form screen, which is this one. And what I'm going to do, I always like when it is having these packages here. Okay, so there is our form builder, or maybe I can collapse this one, and then we can have our thing here. So this is our form builder, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to remove everything so you can be on the same page. So I've removed everything and I've saved. So I'm going to delete everything so you can begin afresh, everything from afresh. Okay, so in the previous classes we saw how we worked on increasing and decreasing of the states. We worked on all that. So now after doing that, we're going to now look at the first input. So I'm already on the screen of Flutter form builder, and we're going to see how we can work with different inputs. And they say that we're going to begin with this very last one, which is the text input. Assume you want to collect a field of text. What can you do? So we just simply come to this form builder homepage, and then we scroll on bottom. You'll find different classes that they provide to us here. These are the classes. So the first one is the text field class, and we are going to see how we can implement it. So what you can do, you can copy it here and then you search it, because they have implemented here somewhere in the page. So I press Ctrl C and then Ctrl F. You can see it is the first thing that they implemented in this form. So I'll go ahead and copy this one and add it in my in my project. Okay, remember we have already looked at the form key and all that. Okay, so I'll go ahead and copy it, or I can as well build it and we're following together, right? So I'll just simply come to our project here, and you see this is our column. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add it. Okay, I'm going to add it like this, and then I open the bracket, and then I press Alt and Enter. So the first requirement that must be there is the name. As I told you that we must be able to access a certain field using the name. So let us say that we're going to collect someone's first name. So what shall we do? We'll just simply put here first underscore name. Okay, so after doing like that, you see we are able to get and we save we are able to get this field. Can you see? I hope you can see. We are able to get such a field whereby we can click and start typing. Okay, so how did we get that? By just simply adding form builder and then name and then first name. So we're able to get this field. So there are more parameters that we can add in this builder. Let us look at those parameters on this text field name. Okay, so we're going to look at them. So among the parameters that we can add, so this name one is necessary, so I'll keep it there. So the next one, they will come under what? Under decoration. So I have to add a parameter of decoration. So you can simply come and say decoration, and then this decoration parameter, it will take a class of input decoration. Okay, input decoration. So I'll just simply come and type here input decoration. Okay, so this input decoration, of course, will have now different things that we can pass to it, and then these things will be passed to the what? To this particular form. So if you press Ctrl and hold, and then you click on this input decoration, they will take you to a field where you will have possible input parameters that you can pass to this input decoration. And these fields, they're English words, so you can go through one by one and learn and see which one they can be helpful to you or which one they cannot be helpful to you. As I say that programming is a freelance thing, so you can even go ahead and learn these things and become better than your what? Better than your teacher. So you can even become better than me if you give these things your time. So what you do, you just come and learn. For example, me, I don't know all of them. I just learned the icon and learn the label and label text, and I stopped from there, and it works for me. But for you, if you have time, you can come and explore all of these inputs, these parameters at your own time, and eventually you can even become better than me. So these are the inputs. So I'm going to switch back, and maybe we look, for example, at the icon, but the most common one is the label. Okay, label text. So let us begin with the label text parameter. You can see it is already here. Can you see? It's already here. So let us begin with the label text parameter and you see what it can do. So I'll switch back to the what? I'll switch back to our form so you can be able to proceed. So I'll press Alt tab for those who are using Windows. Press Alt tab and then the tab key. You can see all the screen that you have opened. So I'm going to go back to this form screen, this one. Okay, you can as well use this tab to navigate back. So among the things that we're having, we have what we call label text. So this label text, it will take what? Will it take? I think it will take a string, right? It will take a string that is going to act as the label of this particular text. For example, when someone is entering this name, it's supposed to tell them that, hey, you're entering first name. So that label is what you pass here through the text input decoration, and you pass the label text. So I can put here first name like this. So when you save, you see we're having this first name. I hope you can see that now. We're having first name as the label of this particular input. Okay, hope you can see that. So let me maybe duplicate so that we can have two. Let me duplicate this one. Maybe this one can be the name of last name, and then we put here last name. So you can see we're having two inputs now. We're having one for first name and the one for last name. So if I click on this last name, you see it will make me focus on this one. Let me do like this. Click on there. You can see last name will make me focus on this last name. First name will make me focus on the first name. Okay. Hope what I don't know what's not going good. I don't know. Maybe we may need to run it again so it can be perfect. So that is the first thing that you can pass in text decoration. Another thing that you can pass in text decoration is the, as we saw, is the what? Is the icon. So if you want your your input to have an icon, okay, so you can pass an icon. So let's go ahead and pass an icon and we see what we can have. Okay. So you see, you're having first name and you're having last name. So you can focus on each one of these. So let me go ahead and pass the icon. So we are trying different things. So I'll go ahead and pass icon parameter. So this icon parameter, of course, will take icons dot, and then you specify the icon that you want. Let me say maybe I put maybe name. I mean user or person. Okay, I think we have an icon called person, right? Person like this. So if no, you're supposed to pass an icon, so you have to pass icon as widget, and then this icon as widget, it takes an icon itself now. So you can see you're having this icon. So that is how you do when you want to add an icon on your what? On your input. So you can see what I've achieved by just passing an icon and then an icon. So in case you want to have something like that, you can do it like that. So maybe I can pass here any icon that I want. Just put here decoration in. You see, you're having this input. So when you focus, it will change to the color. So it's beautiful and so much simple. So let us look at another possible parameter. We have icon, we have icon color. So assume that you want to change the icon color for your project. If you want to change the icon color for your project, so you can simply come and add, for example, put comma and put icon color. So you can just simply say colors dot maybe red. So if you save, you see, I hope this icon is going to change to red. So if I focus here, I don't know which icon they meant. Okay, maybe there is another icon that we can change its color. So you can come and look at another parameter, the label. So I don't know what's meant by the label. This is another widget. So in case you want to pass a label as a widget, you can pass it here. So maybe you want to write your text in your own way. So you can pass that label as a widget here. Just put label and then you pass maybe like text. Okay, and then you can pass maybe my custom label. So this one, label text is just a string, but if you pass the label, it will allow you even to pass a what? A widget. So I think you have to pass one at a time. You cannot pass the label text and the label at the same time. So you see, my custom label. So it means that here you have full control over your what? Over your label. It can be even a picture as a label because they have allowed you to pass a what? To pass it as a widget. So I can even pass here maybe the style of this text, and I put text style, and maybe I can pass it maybe color and maybe put red. You see, colors at red. So you see, the text label will change to red, and I can do a lot of things. I can even change the what? The size, and maybe put it maybe 20. You see, it has changed even the size. But this one is a little bit different compared to this one where you pass the label text. So if you pass label text here, you'll just pass, they will allow you to pass a string. Okay, for example, first name, and you cannot pass both of them. Okay, you cannot pass both of them. So you see, label it will allow you to pass a widget, and you know, once they give you ability to pass a widget, you can pass anything. But label text, maybe you are doing something at a very fast speed and you want to maintain the same design, you can just pass the label text instead. So I hope you've understood that. Let us proceed with what possibilities. So I've commented this label. Let us proceed with possibility that you can pass in the input decoration. So just simply press Ctrl and click there. So I've looked at label, we have label text, we have looked at label style. So in case you want to pass the label style that should be acting on this label text, you can pass it as label style here. So you have another input is called floating label style. So something that in case when you focus and you should float, so you want to format this one. For example, you see there are two states: the state when you have not clicked and the state when you have clicked. So you see when I click there, it changes to blue, or my primary color, and when I leave the other one, it changes to gray. So if you want to change the color of this one before you click there, you will have to pass the label style, and then you'll pass the style class. But if you want to change the color, that when I click and then the color of that one should change, so when it is floating, you'll have to pass it through the floating style. So they give you that they give you that ability, so you can try it. So we have helper text. So this helper text is important. Sometimes we may need to hint a user to tell them what they should do. So if you want to do that, you pass that through what we call the helper text. Let us go ahead and look at it. So I'll come here and pass another parameter. I'm going to call it helper text. So in this helper text, of course, I think it will take a string. Yes, it's taking a string. And then here, for example, it is first name. So I can say enter the name, or I can say first name as it appears on your passport. Okay, something like that. So if you wanted to do something like this, of course, this is too long and you may not need to pass it on the label text. So what you do, you may want to give a user a hint of what they should do in that particular field. So if you want to give a user a hint, you will have to pass the helper text. So if we save, you can see, can you see that thing that has come on bottom? First name as it appears on your passport. Passport, I'm writing password. Passport, okay? So that's how we pass a what? That's how we pass a helper text. So I hope you've understood it. So if I click there, you can see we have a helper text that is showing on this one. So it gives more explanation to the user. In HTML, we call it a hint or a placeholder. It's not a placeholder, but we call it a hint. So you can hint a user of what they should do by passing the helper text. So let us proceed. You can also format that helper text style. So for example, you see it is looking green, but maybe you want it to look in another color. You want it to have a different size, something like that. Let us see how we can do that. We just simply come and pass here, comma, helper text style. Okay, so helper text style, you will have to pass, of course, text style, right? Text style class. And you know what this text style takes? It can take color. For example, I can now pass maybe blue. Maybe yellow. So it will be colors.yellow. Okay, so if I pass and I save, you see it has changed to yellow. So I can change its shade and maybe say shade 800. You see it has changed to that yellow wing. Okay, maybe I can change maybe to green, something like this. You see it has changed to green. So you can format that. It means that you can even pass the size. Maybe you can say maybe 18. You see it's going to change the size. So it is really simple and beautiful to manipulate. Okay, so you can change and do it exactly. Maybe you want tiny fields. Maybe you want to pass maybe something like exactly 10. So you can go and do that, all that. Okay, so we can proceed. That is helper text style. There's another one, max helper lines. For example, if the helper is this help text style is maybe too much, you can limit by the number of lines. For example, let me show you. Assume that this helper text style is going to be too much like this. You see, it is going maybe let me say maybe it is having like 14 inputs. So you see it is becoming too much and it is being truncated. I've just put it 2 times. So if you want to allow it to have maybe like 2 lines, you don't want to truncate it. So to do that, you have to pass this helper max lines. Okay, so you pass helper max line, and maybe you can say this should be 2. So it means that they will allow this helper max line to have 2 lines. Can you see? So if it is more than 2, they can even allow it to go to the 2 lines. But by default, it will be 1. So if it is more than 2 lines, it will be truncated. I hope you're understanding, guys. Guys, are you getting the concepts? Or you're just confused?
Yes.
You're understanding, eh?
Yeah, I'm getting.
Okay, that's good. So we can proceed and look at other parameters that we can pass in that input. We have the hint text. So the hint text is just another text that will come here. So here, this is the helper text. Now the hint text is the one that will come here as a placeholder. Okay, so I can come here and pass another thing called hint text. Okay, hint text. So I can pass here, enter your first name. So if I save, you can see the hint text is the one that will be shown when someone focuses on the input. So in HTML, we call it a placeholder. So when I click there, you see, enter your first name. Okay, so this is the helper text, this is the hint text, and this is a label. You can as well format that hint text by passing hint text style. So we proceed. We have hint text style, we have hint text decoration, we have error text. So in case there is an error, you may also pass the error text. Okay, so I can also pass that. There is a floating behavior on how you want it to, when someone clicks, and how it should float. So there is this one is collapsed. By default, it is what? It is fold. So is dense. Is dense is also another thing that I may want you to look at. I may want us to look at. So is dense. This is dense. It will make our fields to be a little bit smaller. Okay, to use minimum space. So you can pass here is dense. Is dense. Okay. So if you say true, you pass there. It takes true or false. So if it passes dense, you see, it has reduced and it is not wasting too much of the space. If you make it false, it will put some spacing around each input. I mean, around each field. I mean, around each part of the word of the input. So it will be spaced properly. But if your user interface maybe you want to have a lot of inputs on the same form, you can as well change its dense to true, and then everything will be a little bit smaller. We can look at another thing, prefix icon. Prefix icon is the icon that will begin here, will be at the very beginning. So let us see how the prefix icon can look like. So I can just simply come and say prefix icon, and then of course this one is going to take a parameter of what? Of an icon. Okay, and then put comma there. So I'll come and say icons dot maybe message. Let's still look at that. So if I save, can you see? So that's what I meant by prefix icon. This was the icon that was passed in the first decoration. Okay, so if I remove the icon, this one, so you see the prefix icon is the icon that comes immediately, and this prefix icon is on the under the line immediately. You see, like under the line. Can you see where the prefix icon is next to the label? So for me, I will better use this icon other than prefix icon, but it depends on your own design, right? But this one, they give you all the full control. I think there I can guess we may have also what we call the suffix icon. Suffix icon, yes, I guessed right. So you can also have the suffix icon. So the suffix icon is the icon that will be at the last. So you know, sometimes you want to create a different user interface that should not look like that of others. So for you, instead of putting your icons at beginning, you can as well put them at the end. Okay, so when someone clicks there, the icon will be at the last here. Okay, so how do you do that? By passing the suffix icon. So they give us full control for us to play with the user interface and do anything that you may want to do. So we can proceed. That is the suffix icon. Prefix. So a prefix is a widget. Assume that you want to attach something in front. A widget in front, so you may pass what you call a prefix. So a prefix will give you ability to do anything. So maybe assume that you want to put an image here before anything. So you can pass what we call a prefix, and you know, it will give you what? It will give you ability to pass any kind of widget. And when we are given ability to pass any kind of widget, it means you can even pass an image, you can even pass anything. Okay, so we have prefix. Where are we? We have prefix, we have prefix icon. I've looked at that. We have prefix, so this prefix will be a widget. We have prefix text, so this can be a text that they can put in front of your label. We have prefix style, so this will be the style that should be formatted on the text that they have put in front of your label. So we have suffix. Suffix, of course, is the one that comes at the end. We have suffix text and the suffix style. So it means that you will have full control almost anything that you may need, since we are also given ability to style those inputs. So it means that we will have almost everything that we may need to format our inputs. Then we have this counter. Let us look at the counter. So the counter, let us go ahead and pass the counter and we see what will come up with. So I'll put counter and then put there and then press and we see it. So if you want to see what you can pass in this counter, if you want to see it, just press Ctrl and click on it. Okay, press Ctrl and click on it. So you see here, they're expecting a what? A widget. Okay, they're expecting a widget. So maybe you can put here maybe text and maybe put something like 2. Let me see, 2. So let's see where they'll put the counter. So if I save, come and write. I don't know where the counter goes. I don't know. Okay, it is here, right? So this one you can put maybe, if in case you want, let me remove this. It is too much as it appears on passport. Let me remove this. I want to remove this so you can see the counter. Okay. So you see the counter, it will be put here, and it is a what? It is a widget. So you may be counting maybe the max. You can say maybe max 20. So it means that here you're going to allow maximum of 20 letters. So you can see how you use that field. It is called counter. So let us proceed and we see other parameters that we can pass there. We can pass there the counter. You can pass the counter. You can pass the error border, which border we should show when the error happens. You can pass the forecast border when someone forecasts on the input, which border should we show. You can pass the border itself, like which border we should show here. So it means that you can even remove the borders. So you can even pass disabled borders. Assume that you want to disable the borders. Okay, so you can pass disabled borders. I hope this one will be true or false. True, I think. Yeah, I don't know. Disabled borders. Okay, no, this disabled borders, it is the one that in case a field is disabled, what do you want to show? So you can as well pass that disabled borders. You can pass enable, whether this field is enabled or not. So that is also important. Sometimes you may want to disable fields. So to do that, you just pass enabled. So if you pass maybe false, and it means that no, a user will not be able to focus on this field. Okay, so you see, let me pass enabled. I pass as false, true. Okay, I think enabled, it will come here on the main one. Enabled false on the main parameter of the input. So you see, if I disable, this is how we disable an input. So if I make enabled false, it means that a person cannot be able to focus on this field. You know, sometimes you may want to limit the user before they finish a certain step. The certain field should be disabled, so you can disable it like that one. So those are the parameters that we can pass in an input decoration. So you can come and play with them. There are so many, and you can play with each of them so that we can understand how each of parameter can help you when you're designing your own mobile applications. So let us proceed. So we come back. So this was just a decoration part. So we come back to now the field input, and we see other things that we can pass. Okay. So we have the enabled. We have the name. We have the whether it is enabled or not. Let's make it enabled and make it true. And then we can look at now other parameters. So to look at other parameters, I'll just simply press Ctrl and click on it, and then you can see other parameters. So you have the name. I've already passed it. You have the validator. This validator will come next after we have seen how to submit. So you have the initial value. So the initial value is the value that will come initially into the what? Into the this parameter, into this field. For example, let us assume that someone is going to edit their name. So it means that you have to give them the name that is already in their system. In their profile. So to give them the name that they have already put into their profile, you'll have to pass what we call initial value. So initial value, it will take a string. So I can pass here now maybe Mohindo. Okay, and then put comma. So if I save, now when the user will come to this form for the first time, you see, he finds there something. Can you see? He finds there something. That's what we call initial value. Let us go ahead and proceed and see what else we can pass in this main builder. We have read only. Read only, it means that it takes true or false. It means that this person will only read, he cannot edit. Okay. Enabled, it means that that field, enable and disabled. If we disable a field, it means that the user cannot interact, cannot do anything in that field, even it will not be submitted. But read only, it means that this field will be submitted, but the user cannot change. For example, you can pass this one as what? As true. So if I pass it as true, read only, it means that the user will not be able to focus, but it will be active, but the user will not be able to focus on that field. Can you see? I made read it only. So even if I click on it, I cannot change anything there. You see? So some scenarios when you're creating mobile application, you may need some scenarios where you want the user to see only, but should not be able to change. For example, maybe you can say phone numbers should not be changed. So once you put your phone number, we can show you your phone number is there, but you cannot change it. So how do you do that? By passing the read only and set it to true. So we have another thing called onChange. onChange, you look at it. It will take a function where we can see in case anything changed into this field, we take an action. We have looked at decoration. We have looked at onSaved. The onChange and onSaved will also be the same. Also on reset will also be a callback that will be the same. And then also forecast node. This one also look at it later when we're looking at the advanced part of it. For example, you want when someone clicks on next, you should be able to do some action. So that one will do what we call forecast node. So we have this. It will also have a list of parameters. For example, maximum lines. For example, you may say the maximum line that someone cannot be able to go through. Let me make this one read only false, and we'll be able to do that. False. So, for example, if you leave this one like this, it means someone can be able to focus. It can be able to even put more than one line. Can you see? More than one line. So if you want to limit the number of lines, you can pass here another parameter called max lines and say 1. So it means that this field will be limited to 1 line. And we have what we call min lines, minimum number of lines. So you can make it maybe 4. So it means that our text field does not allow minimum number of lines. Okay. So this one will always be 1 line. Okay. So we have text. We have text capitalization. You see. So these are possibilities that they give you. We explain. We don't say that you're wasting time. We are just trying to explore all these features so that when you're creating mobile application, you should know all possibilities that you can deal with when you're working with this package of Flutter text field. It is really powerful. So you have text capitalization. So in case you want when the user should be typing, it should be in capitalized. So you can pass here text capitalization. and then you put comma, then put here, comma, and then this one will take text capitalization class, and then you can pass here. So you can pass your text capitalization. When you click on dot, you will see different ones. We have none, we have words, we have sentences. Let us look at characters. Okay, so characters, what does it mean? It means that for example, when you're filling maybe a passport form, they always say that enter only capital letters. Let me first remove this in initial value. Let me first comment this one. They may say that enter only capital letters. Sometimes they do like this. So if you want to limit this one using the system, it means that text capitalization will set it to characters. So it means that even if let me see, to words, characters, I don't know, text capitalization characters, maybe sentences. Let me see. I save. When this person will be submitting this text, each word will be capitalized. Otherwise, if you may, we'll look at that when we are looking into submitting. They will not show here, but we'll look at it when you are submitting the field. So each word that will be entering here, it will be capitalized. So if you put text, character, text capitalization, put characters, it means that each character will be submitting, it will be changed to capital letters. You can as well change it to sentences. It means that each of the beginning of a sentence, it will be a capital letter. You can change it to words. So it means that each of the beginning of a word, it will be a capital letter. Or you can change it to none. So none, it means that you will allow the user to enter the text as they want. We will look at that when you're doing what? When you're submitting, and you see how this text can be changed. Then we have scroll padding. Then we have enabled interactive selection. Text alignment. Let's look at text alignment. Sometimes you want to align your text differently, so you can pass text alignment. And text alignment, of course, will take text alignment class, alignment, text align. Come and see it. Text align. You take text align, and then you put dot. So you can say justify, or you can say the end. So if you say end, of course, this text will come at the end. So if you say center, it means that the text will be centered. So it will depend on you on how you want your mobile application to look like. So we have autofocus in case you want when the user, when he opens this form or this screen, automatically this field should be focused on. That's what we call autofocus. So if I click here, you see right now I'm focused to nowhere until I click and then I focus to where I want. So if you want autofocus, like when I open this form, automatically it should focus on this first name. If you want to do that, you can do that by simply coming and add here autofocus, and then you make it true. So it means that when we'll be opening this form, it will automatically make the user focus on the first name. So let us do that. Open the form. Can you see? Automatically we are focused on the first name. So that's what we call autofocus. So you want maybe autofocus to be on the second name, all that you can do. I hope you're understanding what I'm meaning. We have autofocus. So autocorrection, like you want these text to be autocorrected, you can do that. But this one may not be good for passwords, because some people may not need their password to be autocorrected. So you can do autocorrection, set it to true or false. Cursor width, how big do you want your cursor to be? So they give you also that ability. So this package is really powerful because they give us a lot of things that we can do. For example, you can say 10. So you can see my cursor is really big, is really huge. Can you see? When I type, my cursor is huge. Okay? So that is the cursor width. Keyboard type. So you can specify which type of keyboard you want. This one is very important when you're creating a serious mobile application. Like you don't want people to enter wrong information. For example, when you're collecting the phone number, you may want the users only to be entering numbers, because a phone number will not have things like text. Okay, so if you want to limit and select a specific keyboard, you can do that by coming here and pass keyboard type. And this keyboard type, if you want to see what you can possibly pass, I'm telling you the technique. Just press Ctrl and hold it and click on that parameter. So they will tell you the type that you're going to pass. The input is called text input. So you can copy it and then come and put it here. And then when you press on dot, they'll give you the possible keyboard types that are available. So for example, it is a name. So you're expecting a name. So you have to do name like this. So if you save and someone clicks here, they'll be able to enter the text. And you can see the keyboard that they are providing is a keyboard text. So they know how a name must begin with what? With capital letter. So when I click there, you see the name, the keyboard that I'm being given, it begins. Let me explain this. If I specify the keyboard type is a name, so when I click here, they know a name must always begin with the what? With the capital letter. See, when I click there, you can see my keyboard has begun with a name with capital letter. So if I put here maybe Mohindo, so when after writing the first letter, you see the keyboard automatically it is changed to small letters. I also didn't know that. I've learned it. And when I press the space, of course, next of the beginning of the name, you see the keyboard is changing to what? To capital letter. I didn't know that for sure. Automatically. So, it's really beautiful, right? So that is the keyboard type of a name. Let us look at another type of keyboard that we have. We press Alt and dot and then put the number. Just press dot and see another type of keyboard, the number. So this keyboard type of a number, of course, you can guess it. It means that you'll be provided the number keyboard. Can you see? The keyboard that I've been provided is a number keyboard. So I'll only be allowed to enter numbers. So that's how you can make great mobile application that will help users not to find problems when they are using. So you see, I'm entering only phone numbers. I'm not showing text. So that is a number keyboard. Let's look at another type of keyboard. Press dot and then phone. So this phone number is also going to be slightly different from the number keyboard. So if I save, I come and focus afresh. You see the phone keyboard. They allow us even to put things like a plus. Okay, so that is a what? A phone keyboard. So maybe I want to put like plus 256. Okay, plus 256. So I'm not given things like letters and the rest. So that is also a phone keyboard. So if you're expecting a phone number from users, you can limit them by specifying the type of keyboard. So we have text. We have date time. Let us look at date time. Save. And come and focus afresh. So this is the date time. So we'll allow the user to type the date, and they can as well put things like stroke. So you see, if you're expecting the user to enter date, so you have to show them the date time keyboard. We have date time, we have text. This is when you're expecting the text. We have email address. So if you're expecting the email address from users, you'll have to specify that the keyboard they should be shown to them is the keyboard of email address. So you see, when I'm shown when I say email address, they give me even the important things that I may need to put. Can you see? The email has been, the art has been specified in this section. Let us look at another feature. We have email address. We have multi-lines. So in case you want to allow multiple lines, so you want to give the user a ability to press and enter. So you have to specify multi-line. So you see here, the email did not have the enter. It did not add the enter because an email cannot have the enter. It will only have like the complete. So if I put the multi-line, you see, I'll be given the enter. Can you see that? I'll be given ability even to press the enter. So that is multi-line. Let us look at another keyboard. We have the none, we have the street address, we have the keyboard that supports only the URL. So when you put the keyboard that supports the URL, it means that the user will be provided with important things that they may need to put in in the URL. For example, you see there's no URL which has an art, and you can see the art has been removed from the shortcuts here, but they've given something that we may need to put in an URL, which is the stroke. So always change the keyboard type accordingly to what you're expecting the user to do what? To enter. So I think there's also visible password. Maybe you want to allow the user to enter a visible password. So you can allow them to do that using the keyboard. So those are the keyboard types for you. Let us go ahead and look at different other inputs that we can pass. Okay, so I'll just press Ctrl and click here, then we can look at more. So I've looked at the keyboard type. Where is it? Where was it? We are here, keyboard type. We look at the style. So this one, in case you want to pass the decoration on the entire input, you can pass into the style. So controller, we'll look at in the next class, like in case you want to control this particular field. Text input action is also another important thing. Text input action. I'll come and we see what we can pass there. So I'll come and put text input action and then put comma here. So if you want to see what you can pass our technique, just press Ctrl and then click on it. You see, you can pass text input action class. So I'll copy this class and then come and paste it here, and then I press dot. So this text input action is also another important thing that can make your mobile application really usable, okay, and simple. So we have the first one is done. Is done means that this is the last field and you don't want the user to go maybe to the next field. So you may make this action to be is done. So where do you check those text input actions from? You check them from here. From here, right? Let us say that we allowed we allowed maybe text. Okay? Text. So I can save, and you see when you focus on this input, we just have the check here. So if you want to specify like this is the first input, the user should skip to the next input immediately after they finish here. So you have the first one, the first text input action. The first one is called is done. Is done, it means that this is the last one and the user has finished editing. So let's see what is done will do. So if we click here, you'll see on the keyboard here we are having the done action. So sometime when you're typing the keyboard, you may not want to move your finger here. So you can use this one. For example, when you click here, then it means that the keyboard will be closed and then the user is done. Maybe they can go and focus on another thing, right? So that is it is done for you. Is done, it means that here the action that they'll put here on the keyboard will be that shows that the form is complete and the keyboard should be hidden. Okay? So let's look at another text input action. So we'll just simply click on dot, and then the next one is continue action. So continue action, I don't know what it does. Let me press there and you see. So if we come and focus, the continue action means that this user is continuing. So when you click there, it will just take you to the next one, means to continue. So it will not allow you to do what? To open the keyboard on this. Okay, so this continue action will not allow you to open the keyboard on this one. You know, some fields you may not want the keyboard to be shown, so you have to change the input action to continue. So the next one we have emergency call. I don't know what emergency call means. Let us see. When you focus, let me come and do focus. It also doesn't allow someone to do anything on that field. Okay, let us look at what I know better, which is, for example, the go. So the go, if we save that one, and you see, so when you focus here, you'll see this input has changed from check. The other one was just a tick, if you still remember. So this go, it means that immediately when the user clicks here, you can be able to do what? To submit this form. It changes to go. Okay? Submit. Okay? So we have another one. The next. Okay? This is the one that I wanted to show you, the most important one. Next, it means that this person should be taken to the next field. That's the most important that I wanted to show. So sometimes you may not want the user to manually click on the field, but they should use the keyboard to click to the next. Can you see? So the next keyboard, the next field, it will be this one. Can you see? We're having this icon. The other one was check. So you see, I have ability to click on the next. So I can enter here my first name, you see. So if I'm on keyboard, I enter maybe Mohindo like that. And when I finish, I just click here. So you see, it is much more simpler for the user to click here other than coming again, click here. So you just click on the next and it takes you to the next input and then the done. So you can do like 3 inputs. So the ones which are having, for example, the beginning ones, you put next keyboard, and maybe the final one, you put the keyboard of done. Input type done dot done, right? Like this. So you see, what does it mean? It means that here we'll have you enter your name, and then without going up here, you see the shortcut is here for you to click the next, and then when you finish, the check is here. Boom. So by doing like that, you can do beautiful applications that have good user experience. So we proceed. I think today we're just going to spend it looking at different things that you can do on this form. So we have text capitalization. We have already looked at, I don't know, let's click here and you see our list. Okay. We have looked at the keyboard type. That is very important thing, keyboard type. And then you have the max length. You have on submit. This on submit is a callback that will be shown when someone is submitting. And then you have whether it is expanded or not. We have the on tap. On tap is an action that we can do when someone clicks on the keyboard. Let us do this as our last topic, or as the last thing that we're going to look at today. So I'll just simply come and copy on tap. So I can come here and add here a parameter called on tap. So on tap, it will be calling a what? An action. Okay. So you have to open here brackets, and then you point here like this, and then you open the curly bracket, and then in between here you do some action when someone taps on the keyboard. For example, you can put here and say I'm printing and say forecast on first name. So if you want to do some action like when someone clicks on this first name, what you should do, so you can put this action in this trigger. So if I save there and you click on our run here, so you see here when I click on this one, nothing is being shown. Okay, so when I click on first name, okay, you can see our action has been done on tap. You can see forecast on first name. So if you want to do any action there, you can go ahead and do it when someone clicks on that input. So that will make it for today. So in the next class now, we'll look at how we can submit this form, how we can submit the form, how we can validate it, and how we can change the forms. For example, other types of forms. For example, the date form, the list form, the dialog form. So the remaining types of forms, we'll look at them in the next class. Because forms, you see, let me show you the list that we're remaining with. Because forms are very important, you see, we have the switch, we have the slider, we have the range selector, we have the filter chip, we have the drop down, we have the date picker, the choice chip, the checkbox. So these remaining ones, we'll look at them in the next class, because forms are very important, because most of the application that we'll be doing will be collecting data from from users. So the way you collect data from users is very important, and as you can see, you have a lot of parameters that you may want to play with when you are collecting data from from users. We have also validation. So the validation is also another full topic that we will look at in the next class, also, as well as when now we want to submit this form and do action with it. So we'll also look at it in the next class. So for today's class, I will stop from there. But all what I can tell you, don't give up. Keep practicing. Watch as you practice. Otherwise, if you just watch without practicing, then it will be just like writing on writing on water. Watch, practice, share on on GitHub. At the end of this course, you'll find that you've added one more skill on your CV or on yourself that can help you really to earn money. So just focus on your own self. Don't just leave others. Maybe if they give up, don't mind about them. Just focus on your own self and make sure that we complete this journey that we started together. So what I'm going to do after programming, always make sure that you come to your to your GitHub and commit. I hope I already have this in my GitHub repositories. So I'll come and search Flutter components, which is here. So I can commit. I can say new changes. I commit and make sure that I push. So I'll click on push. So you guys, what are they saying? I don't know. This is a different account. Oh yeah, this is a different account. No problem. But I can push, so the other account can approve. So if you want, if you want my source code that I've done, just come to my GitHub. Learn it with Muhindo / Flutter components. This link, you'll be able to get the source code that I have done even today. So I'll have to log in with this account in order to accept the contribution that this guy has done, or this account has done. Or maybe I can add this account as a contributor. Maybe as we are finishing our 4 minutes, I'll show you how you can add another account as a contributor. I think you already know that. Let me go ahead and add it as we're finishing. If you didn't know it, I'm not even signed in. That will be work of another day. So that's it for today. Go ahead and watch the videos, which can be found on my YouTube channel. Okay, so come to my YouTube channel, search Learn It with Muhindo. Go ahead and click on the videos. So you see, Flutter videos are these first ones. So click on play all. So when you click on play all, you'll find all the videos here. So you can skip to the video that you want. So that's how you can simply navigate to the videos that you want. Okay, that's it for today. I wish you the best. We meet in the next class where we're going to proceed from where we have stopped at in today's video. And goodbye.